Why was that, and why will they be okay going forward?
Man, it was a nail biter all the way to the end. As you guys that watched could join me in that. Man, Spencer Rattler is obviously the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. He did not have a great day. I thought he was making some decisions that were maybe typical of him. A lot of the times they work out because he's got such arm talent, but he had a little bit.
When you say making decisions, those are like what, Trevor? Like break it down.
He's got so much arm talent that he gets away with things that Bryce and Hack and myself maybe couldn't have back in the day, right? I mean, he's drifting in the pocket. Bryce maybe, I don't know. He's a pretty talented guy, but drifting in the pocket, throwing across his body, all the things that you learn about in Pee Wee football, right? That you're not supposed to do. He gets away with a lot of those things. Some of those decisions today, they kind of came up and bit him in the backside, right? So I wouldn't sweat about it. He's the best player in the country. I still believe that, but he did not have a great day today. I thought Alex Grinch and those guys have received a lot of offseason praise on the defensive side of the ball. They didn't show up in a way that they were supposed to. You gotta it's served on a platter, right? It's a home game when you weren't supposed to have a home game and you didn't show up like the home team. Hats off to Tulane. I know Bryce has some thoughts on their quarterback, so I'll leave that for him. But man, Tulane came in, they played gritty football, and they almost pulled one over on number 2 Oklahoma.
Yeah. Before we roll to Bryce, because I want to get Bryce's thoughts on our man here. Christian, you've been watching college football your whole life. If you see a number 2 ranked club, game 1, survive an unranked team who was not only undermanned, but they were also displaced from the storm. We got to go back to that. They were displaced from Hurricane Ida. They actually spent the week at the University of Alabama. Coach Saban let them train and regroup there. They're living out of a suitcase. Then get themselves to Norman for a home game against the Sooners. If you see a number 2 team just escape that, what does it say about who does it say more about, the Sooners or Tulane? And what are the Sooners if you're in their team meeting in front of them tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, I think you got to tip your cap to Tulane, like Trevor was saying. I mean, they came in and, they executed, they made plays, they played to a level that nobody expected them to play. So, to me, you have to tip the cap to those guys. They showed up, they played, they executed, they battled, they competed. Yeah, I mean, 100%.
Raise a glass
for them.
Bryce Petty.
Yeah, but I mean, for Oklahoma, I really do think that, I think Spencer didn't play, to the expectations he had, but still was 30 for 39, still threw for 300, had 2 picks, threw a touchdown. I don't think it's anything to fret about. I think Oklahoma still has a lot of green grass in front of them as it pertains to making it to the college football playoff and continuing to build a resume that resonates with the people who make those decisions. So I think ultimately for them, hey, we got out of one. Let's keep it moving next week. Let's put together a big performance. They play in the Big 12. We know they don't necessarily hold defense in high regard in that conference. So, let me
ask you this:
we'll see what happens.
Will this be a problem for them? Their resume stacks up to 2 or 3 other teams on the eve of the playoff committee, and they're looking back and they're saying, okay, technically on paper, they all have the same wins and same losses, but will this almost be viewed as a loss? Anybody? Will this be viewed as a loss against 2 or 3 other teams? Say Notre Dame, Florida, and somebody else all come in with identical records. Can they point
Cincinnati?
Game 1, Cincinnati. Will this be reckoned a loss? or not necessarily?
No. I don't think you.
so.
I don't think you can do that. You can't do that, and that's what's tough. But at the same time too, that's why we're on podcasts and we're not getting paid to make those decisions either, because that's where it's hard for and we recognize it as a player. In 14 when I think we got kind of, I felt like snaked out of the playoffs as well. But at the end of the day, look, a win on Saturday is a win. And we've said that before, and it's tough to get a win. And the thing is, I mentioned this, I think last week, for OU, it's going to be tough because everybody has you circled on their schedule. That's just going to be the way it is. You are going to get haymakers left and right from people, trick plays, blitzes, schemes. Like you have DCs, you have offensive coordinators scheming for you all year because they have you on their schedule. Yeah. So it's going to be one of those things. And look, it's deserved. So you're going to have to wear it. But at the end of the day, to the committee and to the strength of schedule thing, look, and that's, again, just like we talked about with Alabama, look, they play Miami and they go beat the snot out of them, but then they got Mercer coming back. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things that what is your off-conference schedule or non-conference schedule look like? But everybody's going to have those kind of tune-up games. It's just a matter of when they have them. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, but it's a tune-up game, but still go. There's a lot of tune-up games that want your Cincinnati Bearcats. They took on the Miami Redhawks, quote-unquote tune-up game, knocked them out. Alabama went and got with Miami in a relative heavyweightish matchup, knocked them out. There are some tune-up games. Everybody has them. You're right. But what happens through the game execution of that matchup? That's the big difference. Let's go to it. You're big on Pratt. Pratt, man, hats off to him. We watched him battle and dash and scramble, take shots, hit a couple big throws tonight that got called back. Bryce, when you watched him, and there aren't too many times, I don't think in your career ever did you go up against an opponent where you were the quote-unquote David. Like you had Baylor, you guys are equal to or favored. But when you look at him, and clearly he's leading the smaller boat, what did you see in his performance that gets them half a foot from having a completely different conversation nationally?
Yeah, I think so. And look, I don't know if they need to necessarily have that, because at the end of the day, look, what Willie Fritz has done in Tulane has only taken them to bowl games 3 years in a row. Willie Fritz. Oh, go ahead and toast to the toast.
Coach.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Hack, for knowing your specimen. But at the end of the day, Tulane is a good team. It's not, again, to your point, I can't remember. Ickenbog or my rendition of that is Helen Keller State. Nothing against that. But at the end of the day, that's what we call it. But they are a great team. And what I saw from Michael today is in a quarterback room, just like we have here, you have what's called a competition. Doesn't matter if it's in the room, on the field, or against the other sideline. You have a competition. And what that dude had today was, not only was he supposed to host what would be the number one touted quarterback in the country, if not number one, maybe number two pick. Mel Kiper just came out with my man Thibodeau in Oregon as the number one overall prospect coming out next year. But you have Spencer Rattler coming in there, and that is a competition. What I loved about it is he gave zero explicitives about Spencer Rattler being on the other side of that ball. And that's what I love. So I think that one of the greatest things that you can have as a quarterback in terms of a personality trait is a competitor. 3 syllables, competitor. You want that guy on your sideline and throwing the ball for you. And I think that at least for me, what he showed me as a teammate of him at Tulane is the guy is going to get knocked down. He's going to get back. I mean, he took a shot. Me and Trevor sat there like, did you see what he just did? I mean, we were talking about Evander Holyfield just a second ago. My man took 1-2, and went back, was spitting up blood, snorting it out of his nose, blowing it into a towel, and then went right back to the OC and said, "Hey, I got my helmet on. Let's go back to work." So that's yeah, man. That's what I love. That's what I love. So I saw a lot of grit coming out of him today.
You know what he reminded me of? I was sitting there watching the game, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, for those of y'all that have seen the movie Friday Night Lights, Mike Winchell is the quarterback, right? Dude spitting out blood. He's getting killed. And the same turnout. They come up 1 yard short to win the state championship, Texas high school football. This dude, like you said, was taking blows, comes up 1 yard short. But I totally agree with you, Bryce. I mean, the guy played gritty. He won his if he didn't already have the respect of his team, he absolutely won it over. Not only for them, but for the Tulane faithful. So I'll drink to that.
Got mine. I love all these toasts, by the way, just so everybody knows.
To our man Pratt, we know you're out there.
Yeah.
Keep icing up.
Yes, sir.
Hell of a game tonight, sir.
Yeah.
Hell
Ice
of a
bath,
game.
rehab, stem machine.
That's right. Frozen peas work. Maybe a frozen ribeye. I don't know. But oh my God.
Or a nice cold Busch latte, Put it right.